Hello, everyone. A few months ago, I walked into my classroom with full confidence because I was supposed to teach a chapter on states of matter, and I'd done it multiple times before. So I thought I don't need any preparation, no planning required. I would just go with the flow and I would teach naturally, I thought. However, as the lesson progressed, I noticed that the students started becoming confused. And one group finished the experiment I had given way too quickly, while a few students were still trying to grasp the concept which I had taught. I realized I hadn't planned any differentiated support or any clear sequence of activities, and I spent most of the time improvising. This bitter experience made me realize something very important. Knowing a chapter is one thing, but it is not the same as being prepared to teach it effectively. Teaching, it requires structure, clarity, as well as intentional planning. And that only happens when we walk into a classroom with a well prepared lesson plan. So, a lesson plan acts like a roadmap for teaching and learning. It outlines what the students should achieve by the end of the class, how instructions will be delivered, and how the understanding will be assessed. Now, when I taught fractions last term, my plan helped me to decide whether I had to use number lines, fraction strips, or a pizza slicing activity for this class. So, without a proper plan, I would have spent the class figuring out how to make this lesson interactive. And some students would have been left confused. So, lesson plans, they also help us when our classes are interrupted. Like, for example, last year we had a fire drill, which I had to, cut short the lesson. So, having a plan allowed me to resume the next day without losing any continuity in learning. And lesson plans also, it helps us, keeping a check that we don't miss any essential steps or skip any essential steps, such as activating the prior knowledge of the students or conducting a proper closure activity. So, in short, lesson plans, they help the teachers remain organized, intentional, and aligned with the curriculum goals. So, what is it that makes a lesson plan effective? First is clear and measurable objectives. They tell the students exactly what they should be able to do. So, basically, identify the parts of a flower, or describe the water cycle, or calculate the area of a triangle, or explain the life cycle of a butterfly. So, all these you see are clear and measurable objectives, and also it should follow a logical sequence. So a good plan, it has introduction, then goes on to instruction, then a guided practice, then independent practice, then comes the assessment and closure. Then it has a lesson plan also includes different methods to keep the learners active and interested. Like maybe, short videos for introducing certain science concepts, or a small experiment to demonstrate evaporation. Now, when teaching evaporation, what I did was I used a small pan of water and a fan to demonstrate this concept. So the students were more involved than just watching a diagram. And I also asked the students to do think, pair, share discussions on how evaporation happens in daily life in order to encourage participation. So this integrates differentiation also. So a good lesson plan, it supports diverse learning needs, vocabulary cards for those who need language support, then challenging questions for advanced learners, and maybe, diagrams for visual learners. So, a lesson plan also has certain assessments which are aligned with objectives. So, the assessments like exit tickets, where you ask questions like write one fact about the water cycle, or give an example each of solid, liquid, and gas, or maybe even a quick online quiz for students who are comfortable using technology, or concept map to show relationship between the ideas. So, flexibility is the key. Then a lesson plan also should have an option for reflection. So it allows the adjustments based upon the timing or the student's understanding. And it also has an option for the teacher to reflect afterwards. So, like after the evaporation lesson, I realized that I needed more practice on condensation for a few students. So, together, all these characteristics make a powerful and structured lesson, which is purposeful and effective. Then, what is the importance of learning styles and taxonomies in lesson planning? they play a critical role in making the lessons meaning and inclusive. Now, coming to the first one, which is the learning styles, cliched sentence students learn in different ways. We all know that. Visual learners, auditory learners, kinesthetic, and reading, writing learners. Now, planning, keeping these styles in mind ensures that every student can access the content, like showing label diagrams for visual learners, storytelling to explain any historical events for auditory learners, then having students do role play of a marketplace in a math money lesson for kinesthetic learners, then maybe, offering reading, writing passages and summaries for reading, writing learners. So by planning for these multiple learning styles, the classroom becomes engaging as well as inclusive. And the next point I said, which is critical, is the learning taxonomies, especially Bloom's taxonomy, which is crucial for the teachers to design tasks at different cognitive levels. So, for example, the lower level, which is the remembering, you could ask questions like list five sources of water. Then understanding, explain why plants need sunlight. Then when we come to the applying level, using a ruler to measure objects in class or measure the volume of a water container. Then coming to the next level is analyzing. So here the students compare reptiles and amphibians or compare how solids and liquids move. Then under evaluating, we have the students judge whether the plastic should be banned, or and they justify the answer, or judge the impact of water wastage and suggest solutions. And under creating, you have designing your own ecosystem in a shoebox, or designing a mini water filtration model, in fact. So by using learning styles and taxonomies, it for me personally helps me to ensure that lessons progress from simple to complex, and it follows all the maxims of teaching also, catering to all learners, making learning deeper, richer, and much more meaningful. Now, why am I using these action verbs such as, um, design or judge or compare or explain? These are the action verbs you can see because they make learning outcomes clear, measurable, and observable. Now, abstract verbs like understand or learn, the students will learn about water cycle. It doesn't tell us what the students actually need to show or demonstrate. So when I say, students will understand the water cycle, it becomes very vague. Instead, what when I say identify, like students will identify 10 water cycle components, or students will classify objects as solid, liquid, or gas. Students will compare evaporation in different situations. Students will sequence the steps of the water cycle, or, maybe students will construct a bar graph of rainfall in different months, or students will demonstrate condensation in a mini experiment. Students will design a poster showing ways to conserve water. So you see, these action verbs offer certain kind of precision. These verbs help teachers choose appropriate activities and assessments, and it makes it easier even for the students to understand what is expected out of them instead of just telling learn about it. So these verbs make expectations clear, and it also helps me in selecting the teaching strategies and assessments effectively. So, to conclude, lesson planning is the foundation of effective teaching. So, it ensures clarity, engagement, inclusion, and also meaningful learning. The incident I shared earlier, it reminded me that knowing a subject isn't enough. What truly creates impact on the students is a well structured, thoughtful lesson plan that supports every learner in the classroom. Thank you.